I can hear you. All right.
I feel like I'm super far away right now.
No, you're good. All right, Coach. Hey, welcome everyone in the Twitterverse. I don't know what we call that. I'm all nervous all of a sudden. I've been so busy all day that I haven't been nervous about this show at all until we just sat down.
Just sit down, yeah.
So now I think we got this set up a little better.
Way smoother this week.
It's way smoother, right?
Smoother.
Yeah. More professional, a little bigger crowd. You don't have any football players coming?
No, I wouldn't let them here. No way.
Really?
No way.
Oh, that's
No way.
nice of you. Yeah, right on. Well, we got some volleyball players in the house. Coach Chad is up next, but right now we're sitting down with Coach Bubba Mariani. And all right, Coach, you know they say that greatness is born with an audience and under the lights, and you've got that Thursday night lights. How are you feeling about this game?
We are super excited. I think with as long as we've had of practice, I mean, we've been going pretty much straight since the last week in May. And it's been, 3-4 months of us just kind of beating the crap out of each other that we're very excited to actually go against somebody. So we're very, very ready.
Yeah, I bet you guys are ready to chew glass and stuff. So, who are we playing and what do they look like? Did you have a chance to scout? Because I remember last week you said that we hadn't officially been given the permission to get any game film.
Yeah, so we went and watched them play on Friday night last week. Me and Coach Bradshaw went up there. We were able to see what they were doing. They're a big athletic team, but I think we've got a pretty good game plan this week, so I think we'll be all right.
When you say big, like what's their front line? They got a running game?
Look like
what are we looking at?
Their front line's pretty big. They run some split wing stuff, and got some athletes that they're thicker. You know what I mean? They're not like your tall, skinny kids. Their running backs look to be probably about 5'10" or so, right around there, and thicker, 200 pounds, but I think we can handle it. Right on.
Hey, you know what? It just occurred to me, what I didn't check, can you make sure that we're on YouTube or something? Or if Coach Chad's going to do that. We got a couple of people work. Thanks out on that, Luke. All right, so they're coming here, and what's special? What's going on this week? What can you tell us that's going to be new? You're bringing in a new era of Boulder City high school football. Brand new coach. Just so happens, I mean, we didn't plan it this way, but just so happens we got this new podcast,
right?
And we got just a lot of new things going on.
Right, it's a lot of fun.
And it's very unique because, like we discussed last week, no one's doing this.
No,
as far as I've seen, there's no high school sports focus like this anywhere.
Right.
So we're the first to do it, which is great because we're always the underdog. We're always hated. What do you got planned for us?
Well, it's a brand new offense. It's nothing like we've really seen here in quite a while. You know, we've got, like I said last week, we've got 9 kids that are real playmakers when they get the ball in their hands. You know, so we're going to spread the ball out. We're going to be throwing quite a bit. We kind of went through our script to start it off.
The other 2 kids are just slouches?
Yeah, 100%.
So nine great kids and 2 slouches.
No. 9 guys that could carry the ball. You know what I mean? Like,
I
that's not
gotcha.
even, I mean, our line is legit.
Okay,
Our line is legit. They do a good job, and as much as they want to touch the ball, I'm not going to let them.
Right on.
But yeah, no, we're...
So who's our quarterback? Let's dive into it.
All right,
Tell
get
us
into
what
it. We've got Gage Hopkinson is starting for us. He's a junior.
Okay.
He was kind of the backup last year. I think he got hurt at some point during the year. But from day one, he has just jumped in and been everything you want in a quarterback. You know what I mean? Like, he's one of those guys that when he's in the huddle, the guys listen to him. He commands respect, and, you know, he's understood the playbook from day one and asks the right questions. And it's funny because, like, we'll do stuff and he'll literally throw a ball in practice, and as soon as he does, he'll turn around and be like, Coach, could we do this off of it? And I'm like, yeah, that's coming. You know what I mean? So, like, it's been a lot of fun working with him. His energy, his excitement, he's got a real good connection with all of the receivers, you know what I mean? And there's a good respect that, you know, if he throws a bad pass or something like that, the receivers, you know, respond accordingly in the proper way. You know what I mean? It's just a good give and take of what's going on, and I'm very, very excited.
Yeah, you know, was this a surprise? Was there a quarterback battle?
There was. I mean, we had the quarterback coming back from last year, and kind of as we got into the season, he decided not to play, and up until that point, it was, you know, we were going to be moving with both of them. That was my plan. You know, Gage was going to play a little bit more defense for us because he's an animal at linebacker. But now with just Gage at quarterback, that's where he's got to stay for us, you know?
Gotcha. And, all right, so tell us about our running backs and receivers.
Running backs, well, going into the first week, we are without some of our running backs. We got some injuries and eligibility stuff and things like that.
Okay.
So we're starting this week with Caleb Porter's going to be starting. He's a sophomore. He's, you know, more of a fullback kind of guy, but he's going to be able to step up and block in the passing game and stuff like that. So very excited for him.
Okay. And who do we have receiving, tight end? Tell me about your offense.
Receivers, so we're going to be doing like our spread stuff. We've got Brady Sorensen and Chase Jappy on one side, and then the other side is Derek Render and Easton Wellborn. And all of them have something a little bit different in their game. You know what I mean? Brady's that like kind of deep ball threat. He can go up and out jump people for the ball. He's very physical when he goes up for passes. In all the different things we've seen, I mean, if there's a contested ball, 90% of the time Brady's coming down with it. You know what I mean? It's really impressive to watch him. Just going straight across then, like Jappy, he's kind of our little bit of a workhorse. You know what I mean? He's going to be playing some running back as well. But he's a tough, hard-nosed kid, runs great routes. I mean, he's made some diving catches, you know, just in practice and scrimmages and stuff like that I'm like, all right, it's pretty good. And then our other slot on the other side, Derek Render, great routes, super fast. I mean, when the ball's in his hand, like he can make some stuff happen. And then Easton Wellborn, him and Gage have a connection. They've played together since they were like 5 or 6 years old. And there's a lot of times where we'll call a play and they'll do something different. I'm like, what was that? And, you know, they'll be like, well, I looked at him and I told him, and I was like, all right. You know what I mean? So, and like giving them the freedom to do that. And I've told them, like, you can make those adjustments. I'm fine with that. If it starts to not work, then we'll have to rein you guys in. But so far, you know, I've told them, like, there's certain plays where you can do it, certain plays you've got to run what we call no matter what.
Yeah, I got you. Okay, tell us about, let's see, your front line.
Line, we've got
who's over the ball? Who's your center?
Anthony Chavez.
Okay, right
so
on.
he played last year. He is one of those just solid leaders. You know what I mean? Like he gets on everybody. You know, he's one of those guys. He comes to me during sixth period and sets up the practice field and does all that stuff. He's really good, kind of behind the scenes, and out on the field, like he's just a bulldog. You know, I mean, you don't really have to worry about him. He's gonna do his job and make sure everybody else is doing their job with him. You know, and then. On one side of the line, we got Sam Bonner, who's a junior, started last year, and then Josh Kingma. So that's our left side. Josh is a senior. And then on the right side, we've got Devin Barrow and Landon Goodhue. So
right on.
All of those guys, I mean, they're we're not a huge offensive line, but we're big and they're all quick, which is very important for what we're doing. They can get up to that next level and just create a crease. We don't need huge holds. We need creases.
Yeah, Josh is a good kid. I taught Josh sight words.
Okay.
Small world.
I think he's still at that level.
When he was in the first grade. Yeah, he was good. If I recall, he was really good with his sight words. He was pretty consistent coming in with his sight words. It's a good job, Josh. I know you're not a dumb jock, at least you got your sight words. We know that. So, all right, tell us about your defense.
So defense, we're really working on. We haven't changed much from what we've run in the past. I think that was one of the things that I wanted to maintain. Is we've changed so much offensively. Let's try and keep the defense as similar as it was. You know what I mean? I really like the defense with Chris Render doing the defense. He's been great, and we're putting his own little spin on it and wrinkle and stuff like that. And the kids, we're basically have almost, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think we have like 8 starters back or at least that played a ton last year. You know what I mean?
Right.
So they kind of know what's going on. They're able to make adjustments out on the field. We've got Derek Render at free safety, and he's pretty much makes all the calls for the secondary. Charlie Stewart at linebacker, and he kind of takes care of everything on the inside.
And when you're on the sideline, coach, are you calling all the plays, or you have an offensive coordinator? You have someone up in the booth? How does this work?
To start the year, I will pretty much call what we're doing. We've got Parker Reynolds is going to be up in the booth. And like I said before, we're in a very good kind of mesh together where we understand what each other is thinking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we have, he'll be up there and we'll kind of go. Like I told him, there's a few things that I want you to look at. Tell me what you see on the field, and then we've also got, Brian Bradshaw, who's down on the field that knows what's going on. And I've got a little bit of a secret weapon. He's over there right now, but Asa will be on the field with us and he knows our offense. So I have him looking at things and letting me know what's going on.
Nice. All right. So what else can we expect? Have you talked to all of your coaching staff? Everybody's ready to go Thursday Night Lights?
I think so. Everybody's definitely chomping at the bit. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where now all the coaches are starting to get a little bit more agitated, I would say. You know what I mean? Because we're just ready to play. It's been way too long. Every team in the Valley has played at least once. You know what I mean? And then there's us. So I think there's a lot of pent-up anger and aggression that these kids need to release.
Yeah, that's right. Go take that anger out, because now I think we're officially 0-1 right now, right?
No. That game just was wiped off. There's
because it got rained out or what? Well, I don't understand.
It was a whole thing with eligibility, school stuff that was all before I got there.
We're all good.
I don't know what happened.
So our record right now is 0-0.
It's 0-0. That was one of the first things I said. I was like, I'm fine with it, but do we get a loss for that? You know what I mean? And they're like, no, the game's just wiped out. So
0-0.
Yeah.
Thursday Night Lights, 7 p.m. right here in Boulder City.
Exactly. No JV game before us, so get there. I know that there's a bunch of parents that are planning on tailgating and stuff like that, but we want everybody there and loud and ready to go.
Right, yeah, no, we'll be loud. And the band's ready? Everybody's ready?
Yeah,
Cheerleaders are ready?
Talked to Brandon. Cheerleaders are over there gabbing.
They're not ready.
Not even paying attention.
You talked to Gavin?
No, Brandon Holly.
Brandon,
the new band guy. We got a new band guy too. I don't know if you're aware of that.
It's a brand new era. Yeah, I love it.
It was fun because there was, talking to him over the summer, and I was like, there's certain things that I want to do, kind of bring to the field and stuff like that. And he was super open to all sorts of stuff. He was like, do you have any requests? And I was like, the one thing I request is there must be some Star Wars played during the game. That's an absolute mandatory thing. He was like, all right, I got you.
Yeah, that's perfect.
So we'll see.
Yeah, see what they come up with. All right, that's great.
Yeah.
All right, well, good luck to you, Coach. We'll see you there Thursday night.
Thank you.
Congrats on getting here. And the real work starts now, right?
Yeah.
This was all prep.
And it's literally seemed like ages. You know what I mean? Like I told you last week when we were doing this is something we've talked about for months, and to me that was kind of like the first official we're doing it. You know what I mean? And now we're ready to go. I literally am so excited that we've got just our walkthrough tomorrow. Kids got the team dinner. We're going to do a thing where we're going to have all the boys come back at 8:00 and kind of do a team meeting out on the field and let everybody speak and kind of want the seniors to kind of address the team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is their last hurrah, you know, and you get involved with so many teams where, you know, the juniors and seniors are like, next year we're going to be good. I don't want to do that. We want to be good every year. You know what I mean? I want everybody putting in their heart and soul
Yeah,
this
I love
year.
that.
You know, I don't like when it's just the seniors crying at the end of the year. I want everybody crying.
Yeah, right on. I love that, Coach. And speaking of, real quick on Anthony Chavez, so we've already had, I think, 2 nominations for Anthony Chavez to be a student athlete interview at the end of the year. So if you have a student athlete that you're really a big fan of and you think they should have their own podcast, we send those invitations out on grad walk days. So all you need to do is instant message us at Instagram or DM me at Instagram on the Bcsn Instagram page. Let us know that you really like this player, and then they'll be nominated. And then, like I said, we'll go through all those nominations and send out invitations at the end of the year. On grad walk day, that's when those invites go out. So, all right. Well, thanks, Coach.
All right,
Good luck
sounds
to you.
good. See you next week.
See you next week. All right. We are on now live with Coach Chad Robinson of the Boulder City Eagles. State championships, 3A Nevada State Championships, girls volleyball team. Congratulations, Coach, on your state championship. First of all, let's get that out of the way.
Thanks so much.
So, yeah, hey, let's hear it. Yeah. State champs. So, what was the pressure like filling the shoes of Coach Bailey? Because I always say that the coach that has it the hardest is not the guy coming in to start a new program or fix a broken program, but the guy following a great program. That's you. How did it feel? Tell me about the last 2 seasons you've been the...
Coach Bailey's shoes are literally huge, so nobody can fill Coach Bailey's shoes. No, but I've been there the whole time with him. So
right,
you know,
yeah,
we've kind of been working in partnership for the last 7 years now. Definitely, though, that first year, I feel a lot of nerves. Didn't want to have a letdown. We didn't accomplish our goal and win state my first year, but we got to the state semis, and then last year was kind of a cakewalk through the season, right? Not too tough, but Moapa was a tough competitor down the stretch for sure.
Yeah. This last season, you went all the way. Tell me about how the team changed between that season that you didn't make it to this. You came runner-up. That would have been the 22 season, right? Or let's see. Let me get this straight first. 2021, 2022 season, then 2022 and 23 was last season. So the 21-22 season, you fell short by 1 game. And the 2022-23 season, you won it. What were the differences on the court between those 2 teams?
So that first season, we were coming off COVID. We didn't have a season the year before.
Yeah.
A lot of these girls that are here now, Jordan, Addie, who else was here? We had another freshman outside hitter. We were basically very young, is what we were. We still had Julie was on that team. My daughter Zoe was on that team. We had a freshman setter, a freshman outside. We had another setter who hadn't played for 2 years. She took a year off, and then COVID hit, so she hadn't played since she was a freshman. So we were just basically very young, very inexperienced. We were still a good team. We ran into, I can't remember who we lost to. Did we lose to Truckee, Coach? They had 2 6'2" right side players on that team. They were huge. We had a 5'4" freshman hitter. It was tough. So that was hard to get through right there. And then the next year, these girls they play all the time. They play club. They're always competing, and they grew up. They got bigger. They got stronger. They got more volleyball IQ. A little bit smarter at the game. And then, we were kind of the physically mature team to go through. So Moapa had the biggest player, which was tough because she kept beating out Julie for postseason awards, even though Julie deserved all those postseason awards. Just stature-wise, kind of got her. She looked the part, but obviously our team was way better team.
Yeah, man, you guys looked so good last season. I mean, everything about your game was really strong. You had very few weaknesses. Tell me what you did in between those 2 seasons, because I know I don't know you well, but I've been studying you for the last couple of seasons, and I'm very, very impressed with you as a coach. And I know you put in a lot of work. I know you're you're a chess player, and I can see that on the court. Tell me what you did between those 2 teams to get us home all the way for that state championship last season.
We made a couple changes. One, Addie was playing. She actually started that first year as a middle, I believe, and then we moved her to right side. The next year we moved her to outside, so that got us a little heavier arm swing, a little bit more consistent defense. We did it the first year as well. We had Julie. Julie's a middle, and typically we lib out for the middles, but Julie played 6 rotations, and we would get creative with our libero replacements. Who else? Megan came on. Megan started hitting outside as well. That next year, she was on the JV the year before. So she started hitting out there. Jordan took over at libero for us from Zoe, and they actually have been playing. They've been playing adjacent to each other since they were little kids. Jordan is a couple years younger than Zoe, obviously, but they played a lot of sand volleyball, and so their games are very similar. And Zoe actually gives Jordan a lot of input, especially as she was coming up playing. They've all played for me. Most of these girls in here now since they were 11, 12 years old. I used to do a lot of stuff at the middle school, and so they've been playing there. So I have a pretty good feel for their skills and what they're capable of playing on the court.
Right on. Let me ask you too. On this season that just came up, we lost seniors that we lost were Julie, Carson, and Kennedy Barrow. This new team that you have now, how do you feel about them in comparison to last year's state championship team?
Yeah, it's definitely hard. It's very difficult to replace Julie. She was the dominant player on that team, and Carson was. She was super impressive last year with her grit and just her wit. She's fun to have around. It took me a few years to understand Carson as a person, and once I understood Carson as a person, she was super fun to have in the gym. We have 9 seniors this year, so we're very old as far as years in high school. We're a little bit young as far as volleyball IQ, so we have a lot of people like Alexis that's here tonight who's been a standout high school athlete for her entire career, but volleyball is not her main sport, but she's super athletic. We have a few people that are like that. Eden Gomez is also. Aspen Christian, who didn't play club last year, but has dabbled in club a little bit here or there, but is a good athlete. She's just very athletic as well. And then we've got these girls here, Jordan, Addie, Haley, Megan, who else? Anna as well has played. Sorry, I forgot we're on TV. I talk with my hands.
No worries.
We have a new junior player as well that came up. So we have a few junior players. Sophia Kelso, who's very physically gifted. She's
very strong
player. Lily, who spent a little bit of time on our bench and got some reps last year as a varsity player, but this year she's our primary varsity setter. And then we have a sophomore setter as well, Delaney, who's kind of splitting reps and getting used to the pressure of a varsity match. Delaney's played a lot of club, though, so she's used to the volleyball ins and outs as well. Forget anybody? I think I got them all. I think I knocked them all. They're good. I've told people this before, from top to bottom, while our top end might not be Kate Pryor, Camry Bailey-ish, our bottom end, we go deep. So we're through 10, 11, 12 players, all of them able to be on the court and play. They just need a little bit more seasoning for the higher intensity matches.
Right, right. And you guys have a ton of energy. Man, one thing I notice is that you guys are very well conditioned, more than any other team, and it shows. Now that these girls are here, I'll just say it really shows on the court. When you take these other teams deep, they get tired. I mean, even last night at Meadow, you just see them break down and they just get tired. The conditioning, I'm very impressed with that. Tell us what you do to keep that on top.
So we actually we have a little inside motto for us, and it comes to our state game last year because we went to 4 with Moapa, but we really took it to them in the 4th set. So we feel like we can draw from that experience, and the players that were there are able to help spread that. And we just talked about it today during practice, is that we kind of had that moment again last night where we were grinding, won the 1st set in a grind, lost the 2nd set by quite a bit. I mean, that was a little bit of a thumping in the 2nd set. Mm-hmm. Ground out a 3rd set, and then just laid them on them. And I think there was one play in particular where we had Haley was serving, and we had just the ball. I mean, the rally was eight times over the net, and you could see like people were about to collapse, but our girls just kept putting the ball in play, and ended up on the top end of that. And from there, I actually felt, I'm like, okay, we can really step on it here. And I was able to sub people out, get them a breath, get them a breather for a few points, 4 or 5 points, and then sub them all back in and really keep the foot on the gas, because that's a very dangerous team, that Meadows team.
Yeah, it feels really good beating them.
Yeah.
I mean, they just think, who knows what they think. We're out here, Boulder City, public school, just a really strong team. I know they hate it, man.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
We deal with it.
It's always a little bit sweeter because they're pretty loaded with club players. I know some of the players on their team from club, and they're very talented. Very talented.
Yeah, you could see that. They were. So, you mentioned that you've got 9 seniors on the roster now. So during the school year, just so everybody knows, we're really heavy on varsity sports during the school season. It's our seniors' last season, so we really focus on that in our show. But let's talk about the JV team real quick, because your JV team is basically next year's varsity team with these 9 seniors that are going to be gone. How are they doing? How does that look? How do you feel right now, knowing that they're going to take the stage next season?
Yeah, we're trying to impress on them during practices and games to really make an effort we talk about being purposeful with touches and having intent while you're playing the ball, and really trying to focus. Our JV coach, Trevor, he's an awesome coach. He's been coaching with us for a few years now, because they're a little bit undersized. There's not a lot of height on that team. I'm only going to have 4 players back from the varsity next year.
Yeah.
And they'll be good players, so they'll be good to kind of lead them into that. But yes, the JV they've got a lot of work to do. They've got to catch up for sure. But it's kind of crazy. They're all sophomores. There's I have one junior on the JV as well. She's brand new to volleyball. She's not brand new to volleyball, but she hasn't played for a few years. Mm-hmm. So physical changes from sophomore year to junior year, those take you by surprise. They'll make a big difference. We see it on the boys' side a lot. We had a bunch of boys from their sophomore years from their freshman year to their sophomore year, and like, whoa, this kid's now a player. Travis Hess was a prime example of that. He was just a goofy, gawky, awkward kid as a freshman, and then he came back, and all of a sudden he's full grown, dominant. He's a man. So yeah. Physical changes make a big difference. Some of them are going to grow. Some of them are going to get stronger. Hopefully, some get more coordinated. And then we're able to fill it in. And then we got to hope that the other teams don't get a 6'5" outside hitter.
Yeah, and like you said, earlier you mentioned the multi-sport students. I mean, we're out here in Boulder. We've got a really small class, so all of the athletes. I don't know of a handful of athletes are single sport athletes in Boulder. That's just the way it is. So you've got those challenges, I think, on the JV team as well. But that's always going to be there. It's part of
That's right.
Part of being a Boulder.
We have, a lot of them they're softball players, or standout softball players. Obviously, we have a good flag football program out here.
Oh yeah, that's also
So they get those multi-season multi-sport athletes, and it makes it a little difficult on volleyball. Volleyball is definitely a harder skill to be good at than something like softball, where you can practice almost any time. You know, you go out and just have your dad pitch to you or whatever.
Sure.
You take some private lessons, but volleyball is really, you have to be in the game a lot to really excel at the game.
Yeah, and it's a fall sport, so it's coming off of summer. And, no one's really energized yet, as where softball gets these really awesomely conditioned athletes by the time softball comes along.
Yeah, they've had the whole year to do all the
they're in
running,
shape.
all the different programs. Yeah.
So, right on. So, what do you think so far? What's our record now?
We're 5-5. Four of those losses, though, were to 5A teams, and we hung tough with all of them, with the exception of Faith Lutheran. They drubbed us pretty good in the tournament. And then we lost to a team from California. I really don't know their background, like what size team they are. We probably should have beat that team. We lost in 3 sets. It was during tournament, so it was best 2 out of 3. And we lost 15-13, the closest margin you can lose by in the 3rd set. So, but they're playing good. We're still trying to figure out some lineups. You were there last night, and you talked about chess, and I'm assuming you see them moving pieces around.
Constantly.
Yeah.
That's you're one of those 5% coaches. I feel like 95% of coaches rely on their eyes, and your eyes are liars. Your eyes tell you the truth. You're in this rare 5%, and I see that, and that's really what impresses me all the time is you're constantly moving. Will there come a time where you say, all right, this is it, and this is where we're going?
Yes, we're probably pretty close to that right now. In fact, I asked Coach Bailey today, I'm like, what'd you think about that last lineup? The last 2 sets yesterday, we stuck with the same lineup pretty much. We might have changed actually we didn't change our serving order. So that's the other thing we look at is serving matchups and try to get our servers strong points against their passers' weak points. And we hit on that in the 3rd set. So not only did we change our lineup, we changed our starting rotations where we were starting in there, and it aligned our servers where we wanted them to be. Sophia got her comfortable serve was against one of their weaker passers, where Jordan's comfortable serve was towards one of their weaker passers. So we locked on that. They didn't change their lineup after that.
That's right.
That's a usual response, is for them to change their rotation to get a different matchup as well. And typically it's for hitters versus blockers. There weren't a lot of blocks in that game last night. But for me, it's mostly we have tough servers, so I want to get servers good matchups. If it came down to hitters and blockers, we'd worry about that as well. But I think we're fairly close. Now it's getting, I want everybody to get a lot of playing time. It's been tough at the beginning of the season because we've had so many intense matches. So, and just a point matters. Volleyball, it's a couple games, game of momentum, game of matchups. So it's hard to give up a point here or there because that could lead to 5 points. And so we've been we've only had the one game that was somewhat relaxing, and that was Virgin Valley. And we were able to get a lot of people playing time against Virgin Valley.
Right.
So hopefully we have a few of those coming up because it's tough. The girls that don't get a lot of playing time, it's tough. And I always feel bad when people don't get playing time. It may not seem like it, but I take it to heart myself, and I want everybody to have fun. Plus, they're all important. At some point, somebody could get hurt, somebody could get tired, somebody could get sick. During COVID, that was a big thing. We needed people to step up and play.
Right.
So we're kind of there. They just need, it's like you said, that play where you talk about the conditioning, it's more than conditioning. It's just being driven the whole time and not letting down the whole time the ball's in play. So you're staying actively engaged the whole time, getting a little bit of a jump on the play to keep the ball up, and that's really what that volleyball IQ comes from, is staying engaged, anticipating. We talk about anticipation, and yeah, that's what the majority of them have. Some of them need just more of those game reps to understand that.
Can you train that? Can you train that coolness that this varsity team has, where they're like even down by 8-9 points, they're just like, it's all right, and then sure enough, man, there they are, 25-23.
So we've had this actually for several years. We're always a pretty tough serving team, and this even goes for some of these girls that have played club for me as a Boulder City Club. We had our own team out here. They're always good servers, and if you're a good server, you can knock off an ace. You can keep next play, keep them out of system. We talk about it. It's kind of a little bit of our identity is that when we're down, we are not out. We can serve our way back into it. and there's no, you know, being down is not the end of the world. And even if it is, at certain points, it's only a set. I talked about this with your team. I coached your daughter's JV team this weekend in a tournament, and I said to them, "What's the worst that's going to happen? You're going to lose a set. There's another set. There's two more sets. Just it's not that big of a deal at that point. So, and then once you do it, you have it to draw from. So we always tell them also remember what happened here, remember this moment, remember this situation, and then you can draw from that in the future as well.
Wow, what a great coach, man. There's no there's no doubting the reasons why you're a state championship coach. So thanks for coming on the show, and we've committed to doing a podcast. I know you're going to come into the podcast booth once Zoe gets back into town.
Yes.
That'd be great, a father-daughter podcast.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that idea. Well, thanks, Coach, and good luck the rest of your season.
You're
and
welcome.
You're welcome to come on Tuesday nights. This is where we're at throughout your season.
Awesome. We got to get Coach Bailey on there next.
We'll get. All right, next Tuesday, we'll get Coach Bailey on there. Unless there's a game, of course.
Yeah.
Unless there's a game. All right. Well, thank you, and thanks, Boulder City. Thanks for tuning in.